Hi, my name is Katia. I'm a registered migration agent with Asset Migration, and I'm based in Darwin, Northern Territory, Australia. A lot of my clients come to me when they've got a bit of experience and they want to be able to see what the opportunities can be in relation to employer-based sponsorship or even state sponsorship, whether that can be in the Northern Territory or elsewhere in Australia. I do deal with a few people that want to study in Australia, which is great as well, but it's mainly Dharma, employer-based sponsorship, student visas, and I also do partner visas. Northern Territory is a really fantastic place for the visas. A lot of people end up coming here as their saving grace to be able to find sponsorship, if it's state sponsorship or employer-based sponsorship. So a lot of the visas that I see generally every day are DARMA. So that's designated area migration agreements. It's employer-based sponsorship, but it's under a labour agreement. So some things are a bit more easier for people to attain in terms of lower English requirements. Age as well goes up to the age of 55 for some occupations, so it can be a saving grace for people. So they love to come to regional areas like the Northern Territory to be able to gain those opportunities. Or 190 visas. A lot of people also do come up if they do have a lot of experience in other occupations that cannot be state sponsored, and that's under the Dharma. So if they've got an employer here that's willing to sponsor them, or if they've been working here for a while, their employer goes through a process of an endorsement and they can see whether they're able to sponsor and support this migrant.
So, so this is employers for the clients or the workers who are already in Australia. So, what about overseas if they want to get an employer to sponsor them?
Yeah, so that's definitely possible as well. They go through their own recruitment process, or we can assist with that. Depends on the employer. If they would like our help to be able to find someone that's overseas, that's migration ready to meet their skill shortages. So we do a lot of people that are offshore for Dharma, but also a lot of offshore that want to do the NT nomination or nomination elsewhere in Australia. So it's not just people onshore. It's a bit more, in a way, facilitated for those that are onshore as they've already got a pre-existing visa. Those that are offshore, it may be a bit more tricky, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible.
So, when you talk about occupations and the NT advantages, what are the areas of occupation that you think that not many migrants have explored, but there is a bigger opportunity in that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So, depending on demand, depending on many different factors that were revealed, as we can see in the last federal budget, that Australia is really going through a housing crisis. So, in the past, we saw a lot of people being invited as IT professionals, as accountants. We're not seeing that as much now. We're seeing those that are trade professionals, those that can build the houses, those that can help with construction. So right now, if you're in the trade industry and you're looking to come not just in the Northern Territory, if you're willing to come to other places in Australia, those are the occupations that we really see that Australia is in demand for.
And is there a opportunity for them to actually contact you? You can actually connect them with an employer, or you can actually get a job and the visa for them.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, the Department of Home Affairs, they're the ones that make the final decision as to whether a visa gets approved or refused. However, we can assist with the visa process. So those that, say, for example, have a lot of trade experience, they may be a carpenter or a plumber overseas, they may have to be migration ready. And that's through an RPL, required prior learning and whatnot, to be able to demonstrate that they have experience for a certain visa. We are able to facilitate that with certain employers if they do like to engage with us for that. And then we can go off and we market and we test the market around the world. We've got a few different bases around the world and see whether we can find people that can become Australia migration ready to be able to support that business. So we do a lot of offshore, help employers that are here to be able to get people that are outside. And then we also do help employers that would like to get people that are here on temporary visa. The biggest, I don't know if I can call it a problem or an issue, but, and I don't want to sound like anyone's mum, but I see that people are here in Australia and they're living their life, which is great. However, they're spending too much of it, wasting a bit of their time, valuable time that they have, pursuing other things. Maybe they're stuck in a job that's not relevant to what they've studied. So they're not aligning themselves with nominated occupation, and they're not building that evidence. So the main issue that I really see is that people come at the last minute and they haven't prepared themselves, and it can take years to be able to prepare yourself to make yourself migration ready. So that's the biggest issue that I see. Unfortunately, the government can't make any promise to people and state that, okay, what you've come here to study, in 5 years, that's still going to be on the list. I understand that's really frustrating for a lot of people that have come here, invested a lot of money. However, my best advice is that if you're on this road, you've decided to study the right thing, and now the occupation is off the list, try find somewhere else within Australia that you can meet those requirements for a nomination, or find an employer. If that is not the case, then you need to move with the tide as well, and to be able to change your pathway to be able to make a great migration pathway, considering all the different policy requirements.
Okay, so what is the recent migration policy change you think that the migrants should be aware of?
Yeah, so as we can see, not just through the federal budget, there's a lot of notices from the Department of Home Affairs recently, and they're really honing down on a lot of, not saying exploitation of the migration system, however, misuse. So a lot of people, for example, without merit, had been applying for protection visas in order to prolong their stay in Australia. And unfortunately, this can backfire on people, as if they've made that application in order to get a refusal, so they can wait a long time within Australia and still be able to gain more time to pursue another visa pathway, it may backfire in the end, as they also need to declare what they've said in their protection visa application, and if that's deemed bogus and untrue, it can affect future visa applications. So the government has really made a few policy changes regarding that. There's many other policy changes in regards to the training visa. That used to be people's saving grace. They, if they had no other option within Australia, they would just apply for a training visa to be able to buy more time. However, that isn't the case now, as you need to have a approved nomination, which can take up to 9 months to approve. So if you only have 1 more month left in Australia, the training visa is out of the question, unfortunately. So those are the new policy changes that I can think of that really wake people up, to make them really understand that every day, every moment that you're within Australia on a temporary visa, you need to have a plan.
If you're considering migrating to Australia, scan the QR code on your screen or use the link in the description below to submit an inquiry. A registered migration agent will review your inquiry and contact you to discuss your eligibility and available migration options. Thank you for watching Nations Watch. Subscribe for more interviews and insights on migration and visas.